The White House has announced that Boston bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev will be tried as a civilian in federal court. Some Republican senators, including dynamic duo Lindsey Graham and John McCain, wanted Tsarnaev to be tried as an enemy combatant in military court, despite the fact that there's absolutely no basis for it other than partisan posturing. And some members of Congress, in particular Republican Louis Gohmert of Texas, have tried to use the Boston tragedy to put the brakes on immigration reform. Gohmert claimed that Islamic radicals are posing as Hispanics to gain entry to the U.S. and American citizenship.
We know that people are now being trained to come in and act like Hispanic when they're radical Islamists.
Needless to say, Hispanic, Arab, and Muslim communities are not amused. We've told you about Israel's treatment of some Arab American citizens who've been denied entry or subjected to increased scrutiny at Israel's borders. These actions violate a long-standing treaty promising U.S. citizens the right to travel freely in Israel. When pressed for a response 5 years ago, the State Department replied, "Our view is that an American citizen is an American citizen. There are no second classes." Yet the discrimination continues. Not only is Israel not living up to its treaty obligations, it's lobbying Congress to grant visa waivers to Israeli citizens traveling to the U.S. Legislation is circulating in both the House and the Senate to grant the waivers, but fortunately there's some opposition. AAI President Jim Zogby writes in his latest column that Israel should not be rewarded with visa waivers when it regularly discriminates against American citizens on the basis of their ethnicity. The situation in Syria continues to deteriorate.
The U.S. intelligence community assesses with some degree of varying confidence that the Syrian regime has used chemical weapons on a small scale.
But the White House says it needs conclusive proof before taking action. President Obama has said that the use of chemical weapons would cross a red line.
The use of chemical weapons is and would be totally unacceptable. If you make the tragic mistake of using these weapons, there will be consequences and you will be held accountable.
Meanwhile, the problem of Syrian refugees is growing by the day. An estimated 2.5 million Syrians have fled their country since the start of the conflict over 2 years ago. This is putting enormous strain on neighboring countries like Iraq, Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan. The Obama administration can take the lead on Syria by helping its neighbors cope with this growing refugee crisis. Congressman Mike Honda gave Attorney General Eric Holder an earful about two issues important to our community: the NYPD spying program and tracking hate crimes against Sikhs, Hindus, and Arab Americans. On the spying program, Holder continued to avoid making a judgment as to whether or not it's legal, saying it's, quote, under review, even though it's been almost 2 years since the program was revealed. There was better news on hate crimes tracking. Holder said he would recommend adding Sikhs, Hindus, and Arab Americans to the FBI's hate crimes incident report form, which amazingly doesn't include those vulnerable communities.